Hello everyone and welcome to another very nice game from round 3 of this year's Chennai Grandmasters. It is the German Bobby Fischer, Vincent Keymer versus Murali Karthikeyan. Vincent coming off of 2 wins against Pranav and against Nihal, and Murali coming off of 2 draws also against Pranav and against Wander Liang. And it's a really clean game. Right from the start, as soon as one of the players gets into a little bit of trouble, the entire position just falls apart. So it's very, very instructive how the victor does it. Let's check it out. And also, if you guys want to really impress your opponents in the opening, check out Lotus Chess. First link in the description below. You will, become very, very strong. I've been using it for quite some time now. You can check out here. I have already learned the top 100 positions of the Italian game, which means I'm crushing opponents in the Evans Gambit and against the 2 Knights defense. I've also done quite a lot of work on some other positions as well. All the way up, you can see I have a 12-day streak. I had a 7-day streak, but I didn't practice for 1 day and then I lost it. But, what are you going to do? So it's a lot of fun. It's just awesome. Do try it out. First link in the description below. But this is how the really good guys do it. So let's check it out. Vincent with white opens with pawn to e4. We have pawn to c5 by Murali. Knight to f3. We have pawn to e6 and the d4. So we have the standard open Sicilian captures. We have knight to c6 and knight to c3 and knight to f6, the 4 knights of the Sicilian. And here you can play a lot of moves. For example, top move knight d to b5. You can play knight captures on c6. You can play bishop to e3. You can play bishop to e2. So there really are a lot of options here, as there are against any Sicilian variation. But here Vincent goes bishop to f4, which is the 9th most popular continuation. And he's saying, okay, let's see how well you know your theory. And it has been employed on the very top level, but only in a handful of games. For example, Fabiano Caruana used it to beat Nija Tabasov in the FIDE World Cup of 2023. And also there are some other instances where top grandmaster used it, but without a very good result. So pawn to d6, we have bishop to b5 and the bishop to d7. Knight captures on c6, and again we reach a position where it was played this year in the Induced Chess Masters. Nodirbek Abdusattorov played it against Pragnananda, and Pragnananda played b captures on c6 and defeated Nodirbek. But here we have bishop captures on c6, and it is now as of move 8 that we have a completely new game. So let's see what happens. We have queen d3, developing the queen, or adding another defender to the bishop, and obviously preparing the castle queenside, as you really want to put pressure on that backwards d6 pawn. So pawn to a6, we have captures, and castles queenside. Murali goes pawn to d5, as that's what you want to do. So, white forcing you to do it even helps. So d5, and Vincent just goes pawn to h4. And they both played it rather quickly up until this point, but here Murali goes into a 30-minute thing. And he plays bishop to e7, which is, it's not a terrible mistake or anything, but it just allows Vincent to do what Vincent wanted to do. You should play pawn to h5 and just be done with it. But in the game, bishop to e7 was played, and now Vincent went pawn to h5. And there's a huge problem now for black. To give you an example, if you castle kingside, white will play queen g3. And obviously, you have to worry about bishop to h6. You can no longer put the knight on h5. There's a pawn on h5. Now that is defended by the rook on h1. And if you play king to h8, then you play h6. And okay, g6, you're not getting checkmated or anything. But then bishop g5, and let's say knight d7. Let's say captures. And you have this problem for the rest of the game. The dark squares are extremely weak, and white is just much better positionally. So that is what your option is if you castle kings side here. So Murali says, all right, let's play h6. Let's not allow Vincent to play pawn to h6. And Vincent goes queen to g3. Puts pressure on the g7 pawn. And how can you defend it? Not a lot of good ways to do it. Murali played king to f8. Of course, castle's kingside just runs into bishop captures on h6, so that's lost. So king to f8 seems to be the only option. We have king to b1, and now you can't even put a rook on b8. There's a semi-open b file, but that queen-bishop battery is not making your life easy. So rook to a7 with the idea of rook to b7 to put pressure on the white king. Bishop to e5, and now rook to g8. So the knight can move, otherwise you're just gonna well, lose the game quickly. And Vincent strikes with pawn to f4. And now there are a couple of ways you could play this. For example, rook to d7 isn't bad, but then you can just capture. Let's say captures, queen to f3. You make room for the g pawn to start marching forward. You put the other rook on g1 or this rook on g1, and not a lot for black to do here. But after f4, knight to d7 was played. Now the g7 pawn is nicely defended. E captures on d5, and here C captures is better. Murali plays E captures on d5, and Vincent just goes knight e2, showing that the knight belongs to d4, and then he's coming to f5 to really put pressure on that g7 pawn. Rook to b7, Murali takes control of the semi-open b file, and pawn to b3. We have pawn to g5. With knight to f6, you kind of say, okay, I have nothing better, let's see what you do. But the knight came from f6, so you already know that a grandmaster will not, take back a move, so to say. So he plays actively. Pawn to g5. We have queen d3 by Vincent, attacking the a6 pawn, but that's pretty much irrelevant. He wants to go queen h7, gobble up the h6 pawn, create a passed h pawn, and win the game this way. So g captures on f4, and Vincent says, all right, just the bishop captures on f4. I'm not in a rush. I mean, it's not like you have any moves. Bishop to g5, and now rook h to f1, going after that f7 pawn. Knight to c5, attacking the queen, and just queen c3, attacking the knight. And while you could defend the knight, let's say you play something like queen e7, you defend, you attack the e2 knight, white just doesn't care. Now you're overcommitted. Now you can't capture with the queen because you lose the knight, and if you capture with the pawn, then the h pawn marches forward. You could also capture with the rook, but then you allow queen to h8 check, fall by queen captures on h6, so none of it really works. So after queen c3, knight to e4 was played, attacking Vincent's queen, and Vincent just captures on c6. Not worried about opening up the c file, as that dark square bishop really is a miracle worker, controlling that c7 square. And yeah, not a lot for you to do. If you capture on f4, then you can capture on f4, even that is fine, but also the rook on b7 is hanging, so everything works in your favor. Rook to d7 is played, and now Vincent finally goes knight to d4. With bishop captures on f4, rook captures and rook to d6, hoping to get something out of the position, but it is just not Murali's day. So have at it. Feel free to pause the video and win the game for Vincent while I give you a couple of seconds. Yes, a nasty royal fork incoming, knight to e6 check, and here Murali can just resign the game. He played a few more moves, but yeah, this is where you resign. Of course, the f-pawn is pinned, rook captures on e6 was played, queen captures on e6, now threatening checkmate. On f7, Murali played knight to c3 check, forking the king and the rook, but you kind of don't care when, your opponent is getting checkmated. And it was in this position on move 30 that Murali Karthikeyan resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So not the best start for him, 2 draws and a loss, but an excellent start for Vincent. 3 wins in a row. We'll see if he can continue with this and maybe finish the tournament on 2750. Would go definitely a long way. And also the sponsor of this chess, Lotus Chess, is also one of Vincent's sponsors. They also sponsored him, so thought that's pretty interesting. But yeah, queen to c7, if you play this to defend checkmate, you're just going to move the rook d to f1, and the rook captures on f7 is coming. If rook to g7, you just gobble everything up. Queen captures, you pin the rook. Now rook captures on f7, again becomes a threat. King to g8, you can even capture on a6, and no moves for black. Really no moves. If you play queen e5, threaten some nasty discoveries on the white king, you can even just go queen c8 checking, h7, queen f5 check, force a queen trade, and okay, let's say rook captures with check. You have this position, you're up in exchange, you're up 2 pawns, you're probably going to be more, you're going to start pushing, or checkmate the black king. So you are winning this however you want to win this. So yeah, beautifully done by Vincent. 3-0. We'll see if he can continue this. Very much looking forward to what he does next. And as usual, I will keep you guys informed. I would like to thank Phil Bauer, Fisher Exteriors, Tafadzva Negvaru, Alexandra Schaefer, and Miloš Knežević for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.